What is up, guys? Welcome into the first draft profile video on this channel for the 2025 NFL Draft, and we are talking about Luther Burden III. He has just foregoed his senior year and committed to the NFL Draft. And listen, I could not be more excited about what I believe will be the best slot receiver in this class. Luther Burden absolutely exploded onto the scene in the 2023 season, putting up over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns on 68 receptions. Now, as you can see, the production did dip in 2024, and that is always something that I feel like people are a little worried about. But to be honest, that's just not something I'm as worried about. At the end of the day, I trust the film. I trust what my eye sees, and everything that I've been taught in this field is that you cannot worry about production when it comes to the wide receiver position. It's nice. I prefer to have it than not have it. But at the end of the day, you find guys who are in bad situations all the time at the college level who are able to produce at a high level at the next level. And have I said levels enough? I don't know.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Let's go ahead and get into the skill chart. Now, for my grading chart, which you can see in the comments if you want a little bit more details, 7 and above are elite traits for me. So explosiveness, yards after catch, and his cut and change direction skills, all of those things are elite in my opinion. And all of those things kind of work together in that same kind of vein of, yeah, he is special in space. He is special with the ball in his hands.
I'm special!
And I think this is probably a good example, one of a million good examples of Burden in space. I highly recommend his highlight film. It is really, really fun to watch. But we got Burden here in the slot position, number 3. We'll see a nice little out route with a little rub concept from the outside receiver. Creates a little bit of space just based on the scheme. Gets the ball thrown to him pretty quickly, and then cuts on a dime, explodes upfield, and then just runs through contact, makes people miss. All of the things that you want to see. We're going to show that one more time. I really love the way he runs. I love his ability in space. Obviously, he can change direction and make people miss by putting them in a blender, but I wanted to show this one because, like I said, there's a million different examples of Burden doing crazy things on the football field. I wanted to show this one because I think it represents something that might not be talked about quite as much when you talk about Burden, and that is his physicality. He is a physical receiver from the standpoint that he kind of looks like a running back. Like, he has a running back's body, if that makes any sense. I really believe, like, if he came out 20 years ago, he'd be a running back in the NFL, not a wide receiver. The running back position in general has been so devalued that it makes sense for guys like this who I think could have played either position really well at the next level, and that's a special skill set to be able to say that. Why wouldn't you go be a wide receiver over a running back if you could kind of do either at a pretty high level? You make more money as a wide receiver, your career lasts longer as a wide receiver, and you're not incredibly devalued as you are as a running back. Getting back to the skill chart here for you guys, a couple quick hitters that I want to talk about. Blocking, I don't think it's going to be talked about enough. He is really good blocker. That's a very solid score for his blocking ability. And then contested catch, right? He is really good at catching the ball in traffic. His physicality is real. His ability to go up and catch the ball is real. And we'll actually notice that his grade for hands is a little bit lower than contested catch. Obviously, those are really close. There were some concentration drops that I did notice. Not a huge issue by any means, but it was definitely something I noticed that ticked it down a little bit for his grade in hands. And then obviously with contested catch, while I think it's kind of special for who he is as a player and his body type, this grade for Luther Burden would be compared to the ex-receiver who's 6'5", 250 pounds and goes up and mosses everybody at the college level, right? So the grade kind of had a limiting ability based on just his body type and who he is as a player. It's still really good, and it's something that needs to be talked about because I was consistently impressed with his ability to make plays down the field, make plays in traffic, things like that. Last thing that I want to talk about, and it is separation. Now, this separation score, 4.5, is my dead even average score. Anything lower than 4.5 is a bad grade for me on this grading scale. Now, you'll notice Burden doesn't have anything under 4.5 because he's he's a first-round type player, right? He's that type of guy. He's an elite prospect, in my opinion. With that said, the separation thing was kind of tough for me because it was a combination of two things, right? His ability to separate underneath and create space on underneath routes, that's good. That's great, in my opinion. That's fine. Now, his separation down the field, that's something that I kept consistently seeing as a negative for him. He didn't create space down the field. He didn't, stack on top of corners and really separate on those, deep go balls or anything like that. And that's okay because genuinely that's just not who he is. But it is something that I noticed. It's something that I had to account for in this grade, and it's why that separation is his lowest grade on this chart. Now, I really, really value separation, but it is one of those grades that there's kind of two parts to it, and one was really good and one was kind of, I would say, below average, and I just kind of split the difference and did a dead even grade. Will that possibly change down the line? Possibly. These grades will get tweaked a little bit by the time I put out my final rankings, but this is pretty close to where we're going to have it. So after looking at the skill chart, I do want to show one more clip for you guys because I really think it just shows everything that there is to love about Luther Burden in one play. Let me put it up for you right now. So I love this play for a lot of different reasons. First of all, peep the situation. We're 1 minute, 18 seconds left, 4th and 5, down 5 points. This is a gotta have it play. Big players make big plays in big moments. So let's play this out. We got Luther Burden in the slot, man coverage. This is tight man coverage here from a pretty good corner for South Carolina here, and we'll see him just kind of a straight go ball. This is trusting your man in a big moment, obviously. See what he can do with it. Catches the ball, runs in for a touchdown. Love it.
Nice.
Now, I will say, this is kind of everything all in once for him because it does encapsulate the one thing that I'm not in love about his game, and that is his ability to separate. We'll see. Cook throws a pretty good ball here. He tracks it really well. He has good eyes. He's a great player down the field. I'm not worried about that aspect. But you obviously see we got the corner in his hip pocket. He catches the ball, I believe, one-handed. I don't have the other angle of this play, but I'm pretty sure that's a one-handed catch with the corner kind of arm barring his other hand. Brings it in, makes the guy miss, and then scores a touchdown. That's who Luther Burden is. He's a superstar that makes big plays in big moments, and that is just one of my favorite examples for it, and I had to throw that into this video. Looking at some of the closing thoughts on Burden, I do believe he's the type of guy who's going to go somewhere between 16 and 32 in their draft. I like him in the second half of the first round. Now, I will say, because of the style of play I see him fitting, I think there are going to be certain teams that are going to value him more than others. Is there a world where he falls out of the first round? Yes, but I find it pretty unlikely. I think enough teams are going to value his skill set, and he will end up being kind of that second half of the first round type of guy. I would love to see him get drafted by the Denver Broncos. That would be my absolute favorite spot. Now, I will say, he can go to a lot of different places that could utilize him in a lot of different ways as far as, how they'll specifically use him in schemes. You could name probably half of the NFL as a team that could use a guy like this. But as far as my dream spot for the player, I look at the Broncos as a perfect fit. They already have the outside receiver in Cortland Sutton. You could put him in with Bo Nix, who is a budding superstar. You got Sean Payton, who can scheme up a million different ways for him to get open underneath. I love that spot. I think it would fit in for the Broncos. I think the Broncos really need a guy like this. I think Luther Burden would thrive in this type of spot. It's the best of both worlds for me, and that would be my dream scenario for him. And it also fits where I think the Broncos will be drafting. I think all of these things are kind of copacetic, and I think it's a real possibility that the Broncos would take a guy like Burden in the first round. All right, guys, that is the first draft profile video of the 2025 season in the books. Let me know what you think in the comments of Luther Burden. Really, really appreciate a like and subscribe if you're interested. Going to be doing videos like this all throughout draft season. This is an NFL draft channel. I love it. I live it. Please follow along for the journey. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.